Hello there, and welcome to GamePoints episode 194, your weekly little get-together where we talk about recent gaming news. I'm, as always, your host, Tim Brandon. Joining me today is...
I'm David.
Tonight, David, we gotta talk about this Red Dead Redemption 2 apparently coming to PC because, that was totally unexpected at all, and no one called that at all.
I'm the most surprised.
Crossplay is now a feature for all PlayStation 4 developers, and one of Randy Pitchford's many controversies has finally come to a conclusion.
Sure.
I would say a satisfactory one given some of the allegations. I'm actually kind of happy how this ended up. First of all, I want to say hey there to Salty Frank and Captain Ice Cold. Thank you for both showing up. It's always good to have people in chat. And if you're watching this live, like they are here at Twitch TV/GamePoints at Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or later at YouTube.com/GamePointsPC, you can join the conversation. This is an audience interactive podcast, so feel free to type in your thoughts, feelings, questions, comments, concerns, etc. Just try to keep it germane to the conversation if possible, although a bit of randomness is always appreciated at times within moderation. Because as you know, I'm a big fan of moderation, David.
I'm not. I get distracted by randomness. I'm
Fair
great.
enough. So, we have some things we want to go over, the topics that we're talking about, a couple of things on top of that. But first, before we get into any of that, I have to talk about Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Now, have you played this goddamn game?
Why would I have done that?
I don't know. Maybe you got it for free. Maybe you got like a video card that had installed or something like that.
No. I don't think anyone was giving out Breakpoint with video cards.
Fair
I don't think
enough.
they even sent keys to the video card people.
just nothing else. Well, as someone who has finally played a bit of Breakpoint, let me tell you, don't get it. I might sound a touch hyperbolic here, but Ghost Recon Breakpoint, I shit you not, encompasses everything that is fucking wrong with games today.
Oh, perfect. So is it like the Mario Kart phone game? Does it hit you the way that game hit me?
I would say it's arguably worse.
Damn. Okay, that's impressive.
Captain Ice Cold in chat's already saying out the gate, do you mean microtransaction simulator? And yes, I do mean that. However, the microtransactions, that son of a bitch microtransactions, is just a small layer to this onion that is Breakpoint. Now, it's a important, integral part to this, because if they didn't exist, everything else would probably just collapse. It's like the keystone of this onion. But there's so much other bullshit wrong with this game. And let's first start off with the fact that this game did not actually release when Ubisoft says it released.
Perfect.
Ubisoft said this game released last Friday, which I believe was, what, the 4th? The 3rd?
Sure.
Whatever that date was. That's not true. It released on Tuesday. Unless...
It's a different date.
Yeah. The game's release date was on Tuesday, or as Ubisoft likes to call it, early access for people who bought a premium edition of the game. But we've had this conversation before, right, David?
If your game is out, that's the release date. Everybody else is being punished.
Yes. You're not being rewarded for paying more for a game to have it released 3 days later if you didn't. It is
That's not how that works.
Yeah, I hate this early access bullshit that they're trying to sell us. They're essentially delaying the game unless you pay up. And
my favorite part is that they'll delay the day one patch, the infamous day one patch, until the day that everybody else gets it. So your reward for getting the game on time is to get the shittiest version of that game at launch.
And some people who even got this shittiest version of launch couldn't even play it because apparently there's error code going on called Mountain 00800. That's just preventing people from being able to start the game at all. Or if they've been able to log in at some point, they can't, because apparently that error code is what pops up when you try to launch the game if you didn't have the premium edition. But people who had those premium editions are reporting this. So not only did they buy the fucking game early to get it on its actual release date, they still couldn't play it when they paid for that privilege to play it early.
Mm-hmm.
So
funny.
That's just the first bit of this rant about Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Let's see. Let's turn to chat again here. Chat saying if you played Wildlands recently, they kept the direction it took would not be a surprise. I'm sorry. Let me start that over again. I'm having a hard time reading that for some reason. If you played Wildlands recently, the direction it took would not be a surprise. They kept testing the waters with loot boxes for gear and multiple small DLCs. Yes, that is correct. And that's not just a Wildlands thing. That is what you have seen.
That's Ubisoft.
Yeah, that's what you've seen in all their new Assassin's Creeds, and I think even Far Cry 5, but that's going to be another topic on this rant later down the list. The voice acting is fucking garbage. And I don't mean just bad voice acting. I mean like B-movie bad voice acting in some cases. The lip syncing's meh, and they're straight up missing dialogue. Like, you'll have someone talking, and all of a sudden...
Nice. That's the best way to do it.
And their lips keep moving. And it's jarring as all fuck. Now, that on itself seems like a nitpick, but that encompasses part of that everything wrong with the game industry. It's that ship it now, fix it later mentality that you see popping up in everything.
Yep.
And I do mean everything now. Let's not forget this also has persistent online, even on single player, even on solo, and de novo.
My least favorite thing. I think I've had plenty of rants on the bullshit that is de novo, but for those who don't know, it's DRM software. It exists to make your game and your computer run poorly.
Yeah.
And some weird ass combative effort against pirates, even though every single game that launches with de novo is cracked in less than a day and has been for at least the last 6 years.
I don't know about every game. I think actually Wildlands took them a while, but it did get cracked. I don't want to say within 24 hours. I'm just to keep people from being technically correcting us.
That's fair. You can come at me if you want. But hyperbole aside, it happens pretty fucking fast.
Yes. And remember, this is a laundry list of everything that's wrong with modern day games. So not only does it have de novo, but it has the online persistent multiplayer bullshit on there and single player, which only exists to serve as another layer of DMC.
DRM?
DRM. I knew that was wrong when I said DMC. I don't know why I said DMC. I meant DRM.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Another on this checklist. The fucking gear leveling / RPG mechanic dumbing down of everything.
Oh my god.
I love RPGs.
Okay, you could go first, and then I'll bitch about looter shooters.
I love RPGs, but I don't need everything to have a fucking level system. I don't need stat lines and everything. Sometimes I just want to play an action game and blow shit up. This is one of the reasons why I thought it was kind of interesting with Assassin's Creed Origins. I was already over it by the time Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out. That whole, well, this guy is like 3 levels higher than you, so you need to get better gear. By the way,
because
better
you
gear.
literally can't fight him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Not like if you're good, you can fight him, but you literally can't.
Now, in this game, to be fair, a headshot will still kill something, but that doesn't account for all the robotic enemies you see.
It's a fucking okay. We can get into this a little bit. So like,
all right,
Destiny, and I mean, no one plays Anthem, but we can still say Anthem and Division and all those games, like the looter shooter games. I bounce off of them a little bit because of the fact that they're action shooter games, and when I play a shooter, I prefer, hey, this gun, I like this gun. This is the gun I like to use, and those games forced me to abandon it because this gun gives me green numbers, and obviously I need one with green numbers or my character's fucking useless. While I enjoy that in ARPGs and Diablo likes, because that's the kind of game it is and it's built for those mechanics, if I pick up a fucking M4, I want it to shoot like a goddamn M4 every fucking time. I don't need 67,000 versions of the M4. If you got add-ons, that's one whole other thing, but it just come on.
Now, see, I could accept that kind of mechanic in things like the games that you actually mentioned, Borderlands, Destiny, and Division.
Some games do it
because
well, but
those games are meant to be those.
Recon game?
Exactly. Ghost Recon specifically, that has no point in being business in.
Like, how the mighty have fallen.
And do you know why it's in here?
We can go back through all the old Ghost Recon games, and the fact that they're, tactical shooters, not loot shooters, and... Yeah. Come on, guys. This is why no one's buying your games.
Give you one guess as to why they've done that with this. They won't officially
they can sell
say
you more shit.
Exactly. Because if you have the same two guns throughout the game, they can't sell you microtransactions to get that gun that's slightly higher level.
Yeah. Or they're not going to sell you 1 million skins for that gun. They'll only be able to sell you one. So they got to make so that gun sucks after a little while, so you have to buy a new gun and a new skin for it.
Yeah. It's game designed by committee, and that committee is all about charging you for everything. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, everything's turning into an RPG, but not the fun parts of RPGs. The storyline, it's literally the grind part. That's what everybody's taking away.
To go back to all the bugs, the reports in multiplayer matches will kick up and no one's assigned to the other team. So it's just like 4-on-0. And then when that happens, you have to hard quit out of the game. So you have to alt F4 to get out of it because it just locks up.
Perfect. Because there's probably no timer or anything, and you
Right.
can't complete any objectives because there's no other team.
Yeah. A myriad of general bugs, glitches, graphic issues everywhere on it. I've never seen a open world game with shittier draw distance, and their backgrounds are ass. If you like, especially pull up like a sniper rifle and look at like background mountains, it is horrible looking. They have a fucking roadmap. Because of course they have a roadmap. We've talked about how roadmaps are now one of my personal bugaboos about the industry. Don't give me a roadmap of shit that you're not going to hit and then go, you have the season 1 pass comes with this milestone between January and April, and then you say nothing about what's coming. You just say, get the second wave expansion. Okay, well, what's in the second wave expansion? We don't know is the answer. They just want you to get you to hype to buy a fucking season pass with nothing in it.
Yep.
And
selling you content they haven't even invented yet. They haven't even thought of it yet. Kickstarter does better. Fuck.
That brings us to all of the fucking microtransactions.
Microtransactions abound.
This game had time savers for everything when it launched. Admittedly, Ubisoft has turned these off and, quote, for now.
Okay. If you have time savers, sometimes they're for adults that are busy. Like if there's a racing game and there's like, here's the thing that unlocks all the cars, so you can do whatever you want and then you can just play it. That kind of shit I kind of get. But in a game like this, a lot of times time savers are, our game is grindy and you have to use this to advance. And then they turn them off. And if the community just completely stagnates, then you can tell right away, like with Shadow of War.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? This game was built with these in mind.
Shadow of Mordor specifically, I believe.
Is it Mordor or War?
Shadow of War, I think, is the first one. Shadow of Mordor, I believe, is the one that had the terrible grindy fourth act.
I never know which one's which. But it just drives me crazy because we'll see within a week whether or not they built the game like this, because if they turn that shit off and people are just stuck on a wall trying to get through that game, then we know they built it around having these things in. And at this point, it's pretty easy to tell that they're all building their games with this stuff in mind.
Yeah.
The transactional part of the video game, the stuff that's going to nickel and dime you after the game's launched, is on the drawing board before they even figure out what the quest line is at this point.
Yeah, because they need to pitch the game and how it's going to be monetized before they get the money to actually make the game.
And it's really, really true of Ubisoft right now. And it's so funny because you remember several years ago, everybody was mad at Ubisoft because they were just acting so shitty as a company. And then they had their like big public apology and things got a little better for a while and their games released and weren't as buggy and kind of worked, and they stopped making Assassin's Creed episodic for like 1 year, and like that 1 year was good. And now they're just getting right back into it.
Right. And expect this to be the norm for Ubisoft, by the way. Yves Guillemot straight up said, this is how we are going to build games from here on out. They're all going to be open world. And the problem with that is they're all starting to look a lot like from each other. Like Ubisoft presents Ubisoft to the game by Ubisoft is not a joke anymore. Because I look at this game.
There's the historical open world game.
Yep.
There's the current day open world game.
Yep.
And then there's the far-fetched open world game. And those are the games that Ubisoft makes, besides like Trials and other shit like that.
Even shit like Far Cry, which was traditionally just a straight first-person shooter normally, is starting to have things like this open world map. And well, they've always had the open world map, but they have like this fucking leveling system now. Far Cry New Dawn had this goddamn RPG system in it that I could not stand, and it just flipped me the fuck out. So, let's turn to chat once again. Let's see. Captain Ice Cold says, you know what really grinds my gear? I love that phrase, by the way. The fact that they sell us half-finished games and expect us to make microtransactions. Absolutely. I hate that shit. If you make a finished game and I like it, then I'll pay for DLC. That's my stance on it. I've bought DLC for games that I have liked. They were complete games when they came out. Salty Frank asks, does this game have towers to climb takeover? So, as a disclosure, I have played Ghost Recon Breakpoint, but I hadn't played it for more than like 30 minutes. So I did not see anything like that.
I'm going to go ahead and with absolutely no research and no reason to know this, I'm going to confidently say that it absolutely has visual points or map unlock points or whatever the fuck you want to call the goddamn synchronization bullshit from Assassin's Creed. Because they made that shit up in, 2007, 2005, whenever the hell that game came out. And
Captain Ice Cold's confirming it does have towers, by the way. They're the equivalent of towers. They're bases.
Perfect. It's in every Ubisoft game.
So yeah, I knew about the bases, but I was thinking like specifically like tower puzzles to climb. But yeah, they do have that same thing.
Ubisoft could make a new survival horror game, and it would still have little points to unlock parts of your map.
That they have the POI that you go to unlock parts of your maps. Now, David, you might ask, if Ubisoft turned off these time saver upgrades, and by the way, I don't necessarily buy the argument of the single dad who has no time and just wants to rush through things, because if you make your game good, they will spend 200 hours in it and not worrying about it.
Yeah.
If they turned off the time savers, doesn't that solve all the problems? Well, no. No, good man. Because they only turned off the time savers. That doesn't count for the fact that there are cosmetics, blueprints to better guns that you can take into PvP, by the way, which is kind of a de facto pay to win on multiplayer. Gun parts like extra magazines, attachments, grenade launcher rails, etc.
Does that work in PvP?
That I don't know. Probably. I can't say for sure. I cannot speak to that. That I don't know.
Yeah, fair.
Gun upgrades, vehicles, and straight up skill points. So, wow, that area is too difficult for you to get to yet, man. Well, I guess you could grind for another 10 hours before tacking that on, or you can spend like $6 and just bump yourself up there.
It's so trash.
They are literally selling ways to not play the game that you have bought. Now, think about that.
They don't actually, at this point, they don't even want you to play the game. They're not even interested in your time. This is funny because this game is so honest, because a lot of games are trying to demand all of your time because, based on research and evidence, the more time you spend in a game, the more likely you are to spend more money on it. But this one, they're not even fucking around. They don't care about the time. They just want the money.
Ubisoft is demanding that you pay to not play their game that you have already played for. Paid for, not played for, paid for. It encompasses everything I hate about the AAA industry right now. It includes all the bullshit from Anthem, includes all the bullshit from Fallout 76, just without the necessarily huge... They're not huge disasters, but it has shades of all of it. Just all of it. Salty Frank in chat says, Ubisoft acts like the girl on 100 First Dates. It just forgets any lesson it learned within 2 game releases. Fair enough.
Yeah.
However, it looks like my theory... Remember how I was theorizing? I can't remember if it was on the show or if it was just to you personally.
It was on the show.
Last week, though. About how this game seems like it's kind of doomed because there was no big media events going on. The ads for it seemed low.
No big press thing or big media event and all that stuff.
And I mentioned that it feels like this game might be sent off to die. Well, it's sitting at a Metacritic of around 60, and that's not good for a AAA game release. Its a user score is 20, and for little known secret in that people might not know, a publisher knows what score a game is going to get well before it releases, and that's not because of conspiracy shit like, oh, they paid for it, or that an outlet like IGN or GameStop or Kotaku or Polygon will tell them what the score is in advance. What they do is that they buy mock reviews. So they'll pay people some amount, let's say $200 to play the game like a month before it comes out, before the big name reviewers come out to get it. They'll pay these guys a month to a month and a half to play the game, and then they will write a review as if they were writing for IGN and Kotaku and GameStop. So that way Ubisoft has an idea of what the game is going to score at. So Ubisoft knew that this game was probably going to get these scores well in advance, which is why when a company doesn't really push something, you know it's probably not going to be good. Because Ubisoft knew that this was not going to be good. And now they're just trying to recoup their losses on it. Now, it might still sell well. By losses, I don't mean like it's going to bomb. This game might sell pretty goddamn well still. We won't know for a little while. But they're bracing themselves for a potential loss.
And who knows? Technically, this is a Tom Clancy game, right? So maybe we'll get a Siege out of it. Maybe in 2 years, they'll keep hammering away and they'll make a fun video game.
They've done it before. Rainbow Six.
I don't know that they will, but it's it's technically possible.
This actively makes me less excited for Watch Dogs 3. I was somewhat interested in picking up Watch Dogs 3, but playing this, I am now less excited for
Dude,
this.
Watch Dogs is a game that we specifically reference when we're making fun of upcoming video games because of all the fucking like launch, pre-order, whatever editions of
but
that.
I to go back to what Salty Frank was saying earlier, I felt like what we were mentioning as well. I felt like with Watch Dogs 2, Ubisoft learned that lesson. They kind of toned that shit back, and they went, here's this silly game. And I was like, all right, you're doing good. Okay, Assassin's Creed Origins, I'm down. Far Cry 5, okay, I like where you're going. Awesome, you're doing a bunch of smaller, not indie games, but smaller games, Ubisoft. Okay, I can dig this. And god damn it, they just didn't flip back a hard U-turn. They're going back to the days of Assassin's Creed Unity.
Yep. That's exactly what's going on.
So, David...
Yeah.
We have ranted about this fucking thing for almost 20 minutes at this point.
Perfect. That's what we're here for.
So let us move on to the next topic. Why don't you lead us off on this?
Surprising absolutely nobody.
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming to PC on November 5th. If you're surprised, I guess you don't know who Rockstar is, because this is what they've done for their last 4 major releases. Comes out on consoles. About a year later, it comes out on PC. And Red Dead Redemption 2 is no exception. Now, the real question is, can this game sell like gangbusters on PC like Grand Theft Auto 5 did when it launched?
Yes. If they allow the modding community to get a hold of it.
That's exactly where I was going with this. If they let everybody play with it the way they played with Grand Theft Auto 5, because there's still mods that make Grand Theft Auto 5 like the best looking fucking video game you can play, hands down. Like 4K buildings, and it's just insane. It could be awesome. And there's lots of things that I could feel that are modded, and a modded version of Red Dead Redemption 2 that would make me more excited to play it, because, well, I did like that game, and for me that was a very like meditative, slow game. As weird as that is, since you're like an outlaw and the game's mostly about murdering people, I didn't play through any of the story in that game, really. I just hunted and fished and dicked around, basically, because I don't beat open world games. And this could be fun. Do some mechanic things, speed it up a little. It could be rad. I don't know how much everybody's loving Red Dead Online.
From what I understand, it's not doing nearly as well as they want.
Well, and there's no way it's going to do Grand Theft Auto Online money. It's a Western. It's got a smaller audience in general, but it could still be good. And hey, it's November 5th. But if I'd never bought it on PlayStation, I probably would be more excited about this. But I'm in the same boat. I can't wait to play Red Dead, so I bought it. And I paid full fucking price for that game. And I put 50 hours in it or so. Like, I'm not mad at the purchase. I did play it a decent amount, but I sure as hell didn't beat it, and I kind of bounced off of it at some point. Other games came out, and I just don't think I'm going to play it again because I don't have that appeal. Maybe in 2 years when it's on sale for $40, because these things never go down to $10 like everything else, I'll pick it up, but we'll have to wait and see.
I am absolutely kind of in that same boat. Now, David, have you looked at that Rockstar launcher that they just announced too? That's right, yet another client, but I'm not seeing people bitch about this like they have the Epic Game Store. Because chat's inquiring about it. There are a couple people in chat asking about it.
I haven't looked at it because why would I? Rockstar releases one game every 6 years. What the fuck do you need a Rockstar launcher for?
From what I understand, and I believe this deal ends tomorrow, if you do install the Rockstar launcher, I believe you get San Andreas, rather.
You get a free copy of San Andreas, a game that came out on PS2.
10 years
a game
ago.
I can play on my goddamn phone because Amazon gave it to me for free like 4 years ago.
So yeah, I have no experience with the Rockstar launcher either, unfortunately, because of, well, everything David said there. All the games that Rockstar has made that I might want to play, I already own on other systems and really don't need to play them on PC. Because Rockstar, like all the Grand Theft Auto games and the Red Dead Redemption stuff, they are amazing. I know that a lot of people have a lot of replay value. They can literally go, this is my one game I'm buying this year, and they will play it that entire year or 2 years or 3 years. There's a reason why it's still listed, Grand Theft Auto 5 specifically, in the top 10 selling games every year.
Oh yeah, dude, I have like 150 hours in that game. I played that game a little bit.
For me, I am, when it comes specifically to those open world Rockstar games, I play it once, I have an amazing time with it, and then I am done.
Well, it's because you play single-player games. You probably play through the entirety of the storyline.
Yes.
And one thing that's always been true of Rockstar, with the exception of Undead fucking Nightmare, which was amazing, they don't do single-player DLC.
Not anymore, anyways.
They just don't.
Which is goddamn shame because their
Which is funny
single-player
because there was this
DLC
whole
was some of the
announcement.
best.
There was an announcement that's like Red Dead Redemption 2 is not going to have single-player DLC, and I'm like, yeah, no shit. Fucking Grand Theft Auto never did. Like 5 just didn't this entire time.
See, but 5
Why
didn't.
would Red Dead get it?
5 didn't, but 4 had some of the most amazing single-player DLC I've ever seen with the Lost in the Dad, the Lost of a Dead.
It had all
Lost
kinds of cool
in the
shit.
Damned.
Grand Theft Auto 5 just got a bunch of online updates and like some new content. But even then, all the online stuff wasn't really new multiplayer story missions. It's just new ventures for your character to make money. Which,
right.
It is what it is.
And they want you specifically because they want you specifically in their online mode because their online mode is surprise, surprise, where the microtransactions are.
Hell yeah, shark cards are the way to be, and that game has consistently been in a top 10 best-selling list since it came out on PC. Does anyone understand the tail on that shit?
That's what I was trying to ponder. I was wondering if they've actually ever released numbers for the tail. Are you looking that up right now?
Yeah, I mean,
because I'd be super curious to know if Rockstar has ever announced how much that money made just in microtransactions alone. I'm almost positive they have, because remember the GamePoints maxim: if something is bad in the industry, they won't say two shits about it, but if something's good, they won't shut up about it. So I'll be shocked if they weren't touting numbers for this.
It is the most profitable entertainment product in history, eclipsing all mediums, and has generated over $6 billion in revenue.
That has to be, the way they're phrasing that has to include microtransactions.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do know it is the top-selling anything ever of all time.
It has sold over 90 million copies.
6 billion is more than most countries' GDP. Just think about that.
And that shit came out 6 years ago.
Anyways, let's take a quick look at chat here. Let's see.
And that article's from a full year ago, so that's not even like...
Yeah, that's not even counting Red Dead, anything that's happened in the past year or so. The scary thing is the cool vehicles don't get added as single player in any way. Yeah, that kind of sucks because they did have some cool shit. They didn't they have a DeLorean in GTA 5 or is that a mod?
There are some mods because they don't have any licensed cars in Grand Theft Auto. Everything's like a mock-up or a rendering.
Yeah, instead of a Porsche, it's like the horse.
Basically, they all have like the Viper was a Banshee and all this other shit.
Yeah, the Dodge Cobra.
But there was a jet bike and all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, no, I get why that sucks. So moving on to the next topic, David, because as much as I want to spend now 30 minutes doing nothing but bitching about games, we have actually some good news here.
Cool.
This is via IGN. The headline is PlayStation 4 Cosplay exits beta, now a full feature for developers. That's right. Now every developer has access to have your PlayStation 4 crossplay with other systems. This has been a fight PlayStation has been hoping to get around not having, but they have lost.
Yep. Hand was forced.
Yes. Going on to the article
as much as you can hate on Epic, I feel like they're actually kind of like the forefront of
they're responsible for this. Epic is straight up responsible for this.
Like, hey guys, sorry, Fortnite's full crossplay on all systems. We didn't mean to do that. Let's just we just went in and changed that 1 to a 0 real quick.
Yeah, I'm still convinced that was not a mistake.
Everyone's like, wait, what? You did what? You're like, oh yeah, sorry, we had crossplay on. We just had to do like 2 minutes of work to fix it.
Sorry.
And Sony's like, crossplay is too difficult to implement and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, well, we just don't want our player base mixing with the other player bases because, you know, the other player bases are dirty.
Segregation now, segregation forever. Going to the article itself. Sony's crossplay function for PlayStation 4 has now completed its beta phase and is a full feature for developers to make use of.
Side note, when they went into beta, how weird was that? How is it a beta? You just tell people they can do it or you don't. But
they only had it available for a couple games. Like Rocket League was one of them. Fortnite was another.
It's just funny. Their beta was literally, you guys are allowed, you guys are allowed, you guys are allowed. No, don't tell anybody how to do it.
Sony's got some sour grapes over this thing, though, because strangely, they made no official announcement about crossplay being promoted to a full feature. This news instead comes from a Wired article in which states that crossplay is now available to any developer that wishes to implement it in their game. And this is because Sony stays dead silent about things they don't like, which makes me even more sure that Sean Layden's departure from Sony last week was not fully amicable.
Ooh.
Because if Sony does something that they like, they... Remember the GamePoints maxim. When a company likes something, they won't shut up about it. When they hate something, you won't hear shit about it.
True that.
They hate this. They fucking can't stand it. You know they can't stand it. That's why they were the last ones to play ball on this one. It looks like the first game to actually show this new support at launch is going to be Call of Duty Modern Warfare. We have seen a little bit of that in the beta, and it works surprisingly well.
Yep, and working backwards, we do know that, like you said, Fortnite and Rocket League already have crossplay, but this one is the first game launching with it just built in from scratch. Now, one thing that's funny to me is I'm bringing this backwards a little bit, but there's one company that I guarantee will never use this feature.
What is that?
And that's Rockstar.
Rockstar? Yeah, why?
Because with crossplay, a lot of times, now this isn't a guarantee, and there's plenty of things that go around this, but a lot of times with crossplay comes cross saves. And if all of a sudden you could just take your PlayStation version of Red Dead Redemption 2 and switch it to PC, one, that would actually sell me a copy of it, because then I could just keep going my progress and I wouldn't have to start over. But two, that for a lot of people, they just wouldn't necessarily buy it because they could play with their friends online on the other system.
Yeah, why would they make it easier for you to play when they can just force you to buy a copy of the game again? Which brings up a good point. Just because this crossplay function has exited beta does not mean every game on PlayStation is going to be crossplay. It is now up to the developers. So if something doesn't have it, send your angry letters to them. To adjust what Salty Frank says in chat about how PlayStation friends aren't castaways from every other console. Well, that's now up to the developers to decide.
Yep. And there's going to be some that are cool. And we talked about Modern Warfare and how we played that a little bit. And it was actually really cool and felt very futuristic to be in a lobby and actually seeing like the keyboard, mouse, and logo, or the keyboard and mouse logo, and then the Xbox logo and the PlayStation logo, all on different characters in one game. That was rad.
Kind of fucked up, though. Salty Frank in chat also says, from what he saw during streams of Modern Warfare, PlayStation players can't see Xbox logos on their systems. Because that sounds like some shit that Sony would do.
That sounds like something Sony would do. It's literally the PlayStation icon and then an other icon, and they don't tell you what they're playing on. That would be hilarious.
So once again, according to chat, so please do just double check. I don't have the article in front of me. Apparently, the way it works on PlayStation is in Modern Warfare lobbies, it shows the system besides your name, but on a PlayStation, they see a TV instead of an Xbox logo to indicate console.
So funny.
That's fucking great. Petty is what that is, and it just sounds like some shit Sony would do, so I'm willing to believe that without having the logo in front of me.
Yeah, no, that's great. Classic.
God damn it. I want to like Sony so much, but every month that goes by, they're doing things that make me more and more worried about the PlayStation 5 or whatever it's going to be called, the future of the company.
I'm assuming they're going to call it the PS5. Why would they break it? They don't need to do some whack ass naming scheme like Xbox.
Nah, let's see.
That's the one thing they have over everybody else is their system names make fucking sense to me.
I still keep waiting for one of them. Either the PlayStation or the Xbox is going to do it, where they just release their next generation console and it's just going to be called the Xbox or the PlayStation. No number or anything.
Wouldn't they just do like the soft reboot but of hardware because they're fucking idiots?
Yeah, that's going to happen. It's absolutely going to happen. Although I like the idea, chat mentions PlayStation 360 just to fuck with Microsoft.
That would be funny.
That would also open it up to a lawsuit, though. Like, they would legitimately grab grounds for a lawsuit.
Nah, dude, but if you call it the PlayStation 360 and then they make it full backwards compatible with all 4 console generations of PlayStation games, you could fucking put an actual CD-ROM PS1 game in this new thing and it plays.
I've heard rumors, but we'll see about that.
Dude, and they put an emotion engine in it. Come on, let's go.
David?
Great. Yeah.
We got to talk about this next headline, which is the same headline that I swear we repeat every fucking 3 months or every 3 weeks rather on this show.
Yeah, this has been continuing. This story is from GameIndustry.biz and Discord, a very, very popular online chat application that you can get on your phone and on your computer, confirms layoffs. Discord has made a round of cuts internally. The chat service has confirmed to GameIndustry.biz. On Wednesday, we made an active shift in the talent needs of our marketing department to better serve our growing business and future ambitions, a representative said. As part of this, some difficult personnel decisions had to be made to meet these goals. It's a bummer. You never like seeing people losing work, and it happens just so damn often in the game industry and surrounding industries that it's we're like a broken record. We could actually dedicate a section of this show literally just to people in the industry that have lost jobs this week.
Yeah.
And I don't think we'd ever run out of content.
No, unfortunately. David, this is very likely. They didn't say why they're doing this. They just gave you the standard PR speak. They didn't really tell me people are getting laid off yet. I'm sure. Now, this article is from last week. I'm sure if someone does enough digging, they can get exact numbers, but I did try and I couldn't find it. This is likely affecting the Discord store and Nitro services because
that makes sense.
No one has any interest in it. If you remember,
like you said, what was that? 3 weeks ago, they stopped. I don't think they stopped selling games, but they stopped giving away games.
They stopped giving away free games. They kind of did something like PlayStation Plus, where if you pay a yearly fee, you get games every month.
Yeah,
and no one was
obviously,
playing them.
When you're paying for Discord Nitro, you're also getting like fancy super user Discord access. So, like people that manage multiple channels probably actually have a reason for it, but the fact they were getting games, I don't think was ever an incentive. The people that wanted Nitro weren't buying it for the games.
The fact that no one was buying it for that makes me wonder how many people were actually even getting Nitro to begin with. Because I don't see any benefit to Nitro. Discord works more than fine for my purposes.
I know one person that has Nitro, but he manages like 20-something servers.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's just... I hate this because I love Discord so much, right? I want Discord to actually see it. It's finally Discord has it's the one chat program for online communication that I use it over anything else now.
Dude, remember when we had to play video games together and we used Skype?
Yeah.
Skype of all fucking things. God damn, that was the
And
worst.
then finally a company comes on and gets it right, and I get really nervous when I hear about things like this, and I hope that everything's going to be fine with Discord.
Yeah.
Salty Frank says of the 300 people that he knows on Discord, only 2 of them use it. Captain Ice Cold says free games is the only benefit to Nitro, but I have Humble Trove, so I don't need it. That's another thing, too. A lot of these free games on the services, once one service has it, everyone else has it.
Yep. And there's plenty of people that are giving you free games. Fuck, Epic will give you free games, and you got to pay them anything.
Yeah.
Just don't save your credit card info.
It's not really a good thing, and they couldn't quite... They were trying to outmaneuver Epic, too, when they're like, keep 10% of your... or keep 90% instead of 88%. It just never took off.
They came
don't
in
have
aggressively before the Epic Store did.
Yeah.
And they were doing that undercut Steam thing, but it worked because they were like an indie marketplace, and them and GOG were like the alternate options. And then Epic's like, hey, guess what? We're going to do the same thing, but we also have all of the money to back it up with, and we're going to get exclusives. And, instead of it being a large competitive market, it's, just the 2.
Yeah. I hope things are going to go well for Discord from the solely selfish reason of that I like Discord.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
David,
dude, I use it more than any other like messaging service.
Yeah, at this point
me and my
I
friends
do
have
too.
Discord, and I just use it like texting. It's great.
Yeah, at this point I do too. David, we have 2 more stories I want to get to.
Let's go.
Do you want to take one of them, or should I just do them both?
I'll talk about this one because I feel like this is a little bit of a resolution. This is something that we've been talking on and off about for a long time. This is from THR, which is a website, which is called The Hollywood Reporter.
Well done.
I figured it out. I remember acronyms. I don't. I have to look them up.
Oddly enough, we use The Hollywood Reporter for a lot of shit on this show.
It's weird, but hey, sometimes they talk about stuff that relates to us. Anyway, title of the article: Gearbox Software CEO exonerated after lengthy legal battle. Yes,
which one
friends,
though?
We are talking about Gearbox Software CEO Randy Pitchford, Magic Man himself, and his lengthy legal battle with former company legal counsel Wade Callender. It's finally come to an end. Look at that. This is the shit. This is ongoing. We've been talking about this for like a year. I want to say.
This is not the one where he allegedly punched someone at a conference.
Nope, not that one.
Not that one. This is the one where he allegedly had underage porn on a flash drive. Now, this is the one time. I remember us going into this. And
no, dude, don't forget about the tweet. It's all true.
Yeah.
What's all true? Guy that's talking vaguely about Randy Pitchford, or a guy that used to work with Randy Pitchford, and he's just like, all of it. No, well, no, you got to be specific. Is it the fact that he got a large bonus that he wasn't necessarily supposed to get? Was it him having underage porn on a flash drive? Was it, one of the many other grievances that had been aired against him?
This was one of those things where I remember clearly, because I did not want to have to defend Randy Pitchford, because this man has done some weird shit, and I think he is deserving of a lot of his criticism. But in
Randy
this
Pitchford
case,
is an asshole. By all appearances, seems to be an asshole.
Yeah.
And he's done some dickish things. But in this case, it seems like he didn't do this dickish case.
Yeah. And this is a case where I was like, oh, come on. Come on. Your people are making shit up now. We have things to criticize about in this. Turns out our instincts were right.
Anyway, Randy Pitchford and Wade Callender did reach a settlement according to a filing in Dallas County, which is a Texas district court, on Thursday. Upon review of all evidence in the case, it was the opinion of counsel that the evidence exonerated Randy Pitchford from the allegation against him, reads an official dismissal statement obtained by The Hollywood Reporter. All misunderstandings between the parties have been corrected, and apologies were exchanged. Because the parties are mutually bound by confidentiality, no additional statements will be forthcoming. Callender, who was childhood friends with Pitchford, filed the initial suit against the CEO and Gearbox, a video game studio best known for developing Borderlands, last December. So, yeah, not quite a year ago, but still a while ago.
Close enough.
Alleging he was harassed for his Christian faith, that Pitchford made a secret deal to earn $12 million as an advance upon royalties, and that Pitchford had left a USB drive at a Texas restaurant that contains sensitive corporate information from the studio, which is true, and its publishing company, 2K Games, which is still true, as well as underage pornography.
And that claim right there is what fucked the rest of the case for him. If he just would have said he left a flash drive with sensitive documents in a fucking public restaurant.
It was a medieval times.
Medieval times. I do want to go to one of those one day. But if he just would have stopped there, I'd be like, yeah, okay. That seems like shit Randy Pitchford would do. I believe you, Wade Callender. But no, he had to throw in that extra underage pornography under there. And remember, we were talking about the specific lawyer wording he was using. He's not saying child pornography.
Nope. Saying underage. And the details of that did come out, because we've talked about it, 4 or 5 months ago? And it was specifically like a cam girl video from a, she's 18 or
it was called only
18
or 18 teens or some shit like that.
Yeah, some bullshit like that. Like, it was a teen-based site, but it was 18 and up oriented, like in the title of the video that was on the flash drive. But the guy's still claiming underage.
This falls in that category of I see people do this to presidents they don't like, when they go, I'm going to make up wild shit about this man or exaggerate shit about this man because I don't like them, when in reality, you don't have to do that, because there's plenty of shit to go after them for to begin with. That's true.
Dude, there's plenty of real okay, assholes do asshole shit.
Yeah.
And you can be absolutely mad at them for all the asshole shit. And guess what? When they're really assholes, you don't have to make up additional shit, because they're going to do shit just watch, just leave them alone. They'll figure out plenty of stupid shit to do. You don't have to make it up. Back to the story, though. Gearbox, meanwhile, had claimed that Callender abused his company credit card and refused to pay back a $300,000 loan from the company, which was like their countersuit against this guy, basically, because it was something about he renovated his house, or he had some kind of advance or some bullshit.
My gut tells me, and we'll never know because it's been sealed, is that in exchange for not pressing charges against Wade Callender drops all charges of the lawsuit.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that is how this busted down, because that $12 million
that makes sense, because Randy did get $12 million as an advance against something that I don't think the contract was completed.
It's one of those things where when you look at it, he was technically correct in doing what he did, but it's still kind of scummy.
Because he took it, he didn't take it. He took it into his company, or his company received it.
He shell gamed it. He kind of went, okay, this is going here, now this is going here, now this is going here, and that's going to my pocket, and it's all legal to do. You could say it's shitty, but it's legal.
And they're like, Randy did end up with $12 million. I guess this guy can keep the $300K.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was the exchange here. You drop all of your lawsuits, and we don't send your ass to jail.
Yep.
But hey, what do I know? It's
because guess who's gonna win in the long, drawn-out legal battle?
Yeah, the guy who has $12 million he stole.
I was going to say, the one guy who was a legal console or a company that continually releases blockbuster video games? Or the parent company of a company.
So I do want to get a couple disclosures out the gate here. One, all these spitball ideas we're making up, we don't know what happened because it's all under a confidentiality contract.
Everything's under confidentiality. All we can do is speculate.
Two,
all we know is that Rennie Pitchford was exonerated by the evidence, and there was an official dismissal of the case. That's the only actual facts we have.
And two, despite us always seemingly talking about legal subjects on the show, we are not lawyers. We're just two jackasses who, almost 50% of, have watched a lot of Law and Order.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Let's see. Let's turn to chat here. Captain Ice Cole's talking about the magic of Waterworks. Randy is a weird, angry, special man. Yeah,
sounds right.
I can see that. Something Frank says he pulled from his magic roots and did a legal sleight of hand. That I think is very true.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That I think did happen. And yes, allegedly, it's absolutely the key word here.
Dude, that's the key word of this show, by the way. If in case you're not aware, anything we say that sounds sketchy, the allegedly is implied. Sometimes we don't get to it right away, but it's in there.
Let me just say that right now. The opinions of Stephen Brown do not reflect the opinions of GamePoints or its any affiliated subsidiaries, despite the fact that I own it lock, stock, and barrel.
Yeah, basically.
The opinions of our CEO and owner do not reflect the opinions of this company.
Neither of the opinions of the members of GamePoints reflect the actual opinions of GamePoints.
However, with this last story, I'm going to go ahead and say right now, fuck China, fuck everything about it, free Hong Kong. Going into the story.
Let's get into it.
Headline: Hong Kong player Blitzchung calls for liberation of his country in a post-game interview via Inven Global. I am going to preemptively apologize right now because I am not going to be able to pronounce most of these names. I will do my best. And while I can usually pronounce Japanese just fine, once you start getting to other Asian countries, I have an issue, and I apologize. An unexpected turn of events during last weekend's Hearthstone Grandmasters regular season. After finishing his match, Hong Kong player Ning Blitzchung Wai Chung appeared on the official Taiwanese Hearthstone stream for his post-game interview wearing a gas mask. After lifting the mouthpiece, Blitzchung sounded in Chinese, "Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our age." So, if you do not know, and I don't necessarily blame you for not, a lot of people don't pay attention to world news, I get it. Hong Kong is currently in the middle of what some were actually calling an uprising against China.
Yes, that is definitely happening, and it's kind of huge.
Something like an eighth or a fifth of their entire population, like a massive number, have taken to the streets. Yep. Shots have been fired recently. A couple protesters have been hit with bullets. A cop was set on fire from a Molotov. It is fucking chaos around there.
They are legitimately getting good at putting out tear gas.
Yeah. And I fucking hate that all these people who speak about, like, human rights and freedoms, I'm looking at mostly celebrities, are fucking quiet on this topic because they make money off of Chinese markets. And South Park touched on this perfectly last week. You even had the situation where a guy who was doing a tour, I think he was like the owner of the Houston Rockets, more or less said he supported Hong Kong. And then the NBA had to come out and go, "Oh, no, he doesn't represent us. Well, he was just," and then they forced him to kind of say, "Hey, I was speaking out of turn." It's like, fuck you. We can all say China is an oppressive fuck off totalitarian district.
Yeah, basically.
They are actively enslaving like a sixth of the world population.
Yeah.
Fuck that country.
They've got suicide nets around the buildings where they make people work. You know, the same people that make the chips in your iPhones.
And fuck...
It's a scary fucking place.
Fuck Blizzard for what they did here. Not wanting to be associated with the statement made by Blitzchung, the casters of both hide behind their desk. And if you watch this, you can literally see them kind of shifting down like this. That should tell you how fucking terrifying that country is when the people who are even just on the other side of the camera have to start hiding their faces because they're afraid the government's going to go after them. Afterwards, they say something along the lines of, "Okay, that's it, Blitz, bro." And once the production team realizes what has transpired, the steam quickly cuts to an ad break. A thread on the Hearthstone subreddit formed swiftly, but the clip has been taken down, and the VOD struck from entirety Twitch by Blizzard. Fuck you, Blizzard. Fuck you. How dare you do shit like that? I get it. I understand it. China has 1 billion plus people in it, and it's an untapped market, and you can make a lot of money in there. But not to, I mean, South Park once again covered this perfectly last week. I am so fucking tired of entertainment bending over backwards not to offend the Chinese overlords. What's his name? The guy that looks like Winnie the Pooh who runs the fucking Communist Party over in China. Not to get his feelings all in a bunch because, God forbid, there's money on the table. Fuck off with your goddamn hypocrisy. When you bitch and complain as a celebrity about how evil and oppressive America is, but you don't say shit about the stuff going on in China, be you a celebrity, a owner of an NBA team, or a fucking video game company like Blizzard, you can kiss my fucking ass.
Now, quick question, for full disclosure's sake, who owns Blizzard?
Tencent.
Damn it, you're supposed to let me get You're supposed to let me get
they don't own Blizzard.
David?
Sorry.
They don't own
Blizzard, but they have a lot of
the way I did. Who owns Blizzard?
I don't know, David. Who owns Blizzard?
Activision. Now, who owns a chunk of Activision?
I don't know, David. Who owns a chunk of Activision?
Tencent. And who owns Tencent lock, stock, and barrel? The Chinese goddamn government.
Technically, I don't think the Chinese government actually operates them. However, they do have to play ball or else they get shut down by the Chinese government. We saw this happen a couple months ago when all of a sudden like games just got fucking put on hold in China. Like you couldn't import in anymore because they're like, oh, well, we need to review if these are culturally sensitive or not. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, do what the fuck we say. This is one of the reasons why I'm actually legitimately afraid of Tencent is the undue influence that it by proxy gives the Chinese government on American culture.
Yep. It's kind of crazy. And, you know, they're worth all the fucking money.
I hate it so much.
Money.
I hate the fucking hypocrisy behind all those in power about it. And I can't... excuse me. I'm like choking up here on my own spit here because I got kind of fiery there. Captain Ice Cold in chat says it best. I find it crazy how Blizzard is so understanding and progressive that they ban a green frog from their forums and events, but a human violation in China, not an issue. They have... Blizzard fucking banned a kid for giving the okay sign. They banned his ass.
It's kind of weird
bend over to this shit.
How crazy they can be on some shit.
There is a term for this, by the way, in China. It's called baizhua, which I believe roughly translates into white left, which is a mocking term the citizens have in China for our made-up activism here. Where when it's something that really matters, we turn a blind eye to it, but we get outraged about stupid shit like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I fucking hate this shit. It makes me sad, David. And if I was looking for something to get over my sadness this week, what would I find?
God damn, now that's a fucking transition. Oof. Also, watch out. Captain Ice Cold is telling you to watch out with those hand signs. You might get us banned on Twitch.
I did do that on purpose to kind of put my money a little bit where my mouth is because I do know Twitch kind of gets snubby
Captain
about
Ice
that.
Cold. We didn't play anything from Nintendo, including publicly available press released for the press materials.
There's a reason why I don't put trailers up anymore. I got tired of the fucking hassle of dealing with that shit.
You can put up a still fucking image that Nintendo put on like a public facing site for use in advertisements and we'll still get fucking hit because they're crazy. Anyway, let's talk about video games because this is a video game podcast and not a Chinese political dissent podcast.
Hey, once again, to be fair, in my defense, the reason why the show was called GamePoints is because I ripped it off the idea of political talking points. So my original idea of this show was like supposed to be Hardball with Chris Matthews, but just me yelling at a camera instead of like him.
Fair. And then I came along and made it so it's not just you yelling for a full hour.
Yeah.
Anyway, how about if you want to play video games, you could play Ukulele and the Impossible Lair on PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC.
I didn't even know this was a thing that existed.
Yeah, dude, there's a new ukulele game. It's called Impossible Lair. It's a brand new platform adventure from, you know, some of the key creative talent behind Donkey Kong Country, which is one of the best fucking video games ever made. And you play as the Colorful Buddy duo, and there's 2.5D levels, so think, what Tropical Freeze or any of the other like 3D character model 2D
The newer
games.
Donkey Kongs.
Yep, or the newer Mario Brothers.
So this is not an actual ukulele game. It's a spin-off. It's not like Ukulele 2 or anything.
Nope.
Okay.
But it's a platform adventure, and it's got a 3D overworld, and it sounds like a Donkey Kong Country game, and I'm actually kind of excited about it. This game looks fun. This looks like something I would play a long time ago, but I still like those kinds of games, so who knows? We'll see. The Alliance HD Remaster comes out for PS4, Switch, and PC.
That's the Alliance Alive, my good man. You have to say the stupid name in its entirety.
My bad. This is one of them anime JRPGs that I'm not good at selling because I don't play any of them, but it's an HD remaster of one that already came out, so maybe you know about it and you can talk about it, or you don't.
No, I know nothing about it.
It's a JRPG. You get skills. You forge alliances. You challenge the daemons that have taken over the world. Rise up and ignite the resistance and
now
the Alliance alive.
You added that accent on the daemon. So is it spelled Deamon? Is it like 40K daemon, or is it demon?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's spelled like the funny way. Don't worry about it. Hey, John Wick Hex finally comes out this week.
This legit looks
game
good.
That's been on pre-order on the Epic Store for the last 4 fucking ever. If you don't want to buy it on Epic, I think this also releases on the Discord store, but it does not release on Steam because, they want to make their money.
I like how Epic is just like, oh, who cares about the Discord store? We're just gonna be petty towards Steam,
right?
Coming everywhere but Steam.
That I think is my favorite way they can play this. Like,
there's a level of pettiness there that I can appreciate.
And GOG and Discord and not Steam, because that's hilarious. But
this looks good though.
John Wick Hex is a timeline strategy game. So what I mean by that is you move the character through a hex-based grid, you moves and actions to kill enemies and try not to get hit, but the actions of John Wick, and all the visible enemies are shown in a timeline, kind of like a video editing software shows it. Like, you have like a timeline on the bottom, you can kind of see what's upcoming, and you continually give commands for John, because obviously you're not enough of a badass to play John Wick in real time, so they gave you a way to do it. You build out the timeline, and then you basically, when you run out of moves, he stops moving. So it's almost turn-based, except for as soon as you start adding to the timeline, the gameplay progresses so that it, looks badass as John just kills everybody on the screen, or dodges from fire, or breaks somebody's gun, or crushes somebody with a book, as you do. Also coming out this week, Indivisible for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. This is an anime action RPG, so think platforming RPG. From Lab Zero, which is the same crew that made Skullgirls, so it has a kind of similar art style.
Okay, I know Skullgirls.
Skullgirls is a fighting game, a 2D fighting game that I actually really liked. That game was pretty fun. I don't know how they're going to do in an action RPG, but it kind of has that. Oh god, I always mix them up. Is it Valkyrie Profile, where each one of the face buttons is one of your characters?
Yes.
It has that kind of combat style, and then out of combat, it is more of a 2D platformer.
Okay.
So, it looks kind of cool. Trine 4, The Nightmare Prince comes out. I had no idea there was a new Trine game coming, so that's exciting. PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. This is a side-scrolling action-adventure, a 2.5D game that's co-op, and that's why I always liked about the Trine games. When you play it solo, it's, a fighter, a ranger, and a mage are like your 3 characters, and you jump back and forth between the 3 to solve puzzles and kill enemies. And if you're playing with 3 people in co-op, you have one playing as each one. And I don't know, the Trine games have always been solid in my opinion, so this game might be rad. I had no idea it was coming though, so that's cool. Burger Time Party hits Switch. This is a reimagining of Data East's 1982 arcade classic Burger Time. No shit, this is like a remaster of Burger Time for the 6 people that I don't even want to say.
I actually saw this at PAX. The multiplayer mode to this looks kind of fun. Now, I wouldn't want to go out of my way to buy it, but if it was at a party and someone had Burger Time Party, I'd be into it.
Yeah, it's got new modes, all kinds of fancy items. You're trying to solve puzzles and sort of make food, but not really. It's more platforming. I don't know. Just fucking Google Burger Time. It's not my job to tell you what NES games look like. Atlas.
No, sir.
Not even NES game. This is an arcade game. My bad.
You need to stretch farther than Nintendo for this one, my man. This was like an Atari 2600 game that was also on the old arcades.
That's why I tried to take it back and immediately just said arcade game. I know I fucked that one up. Before you guys come after me in the comments, it's not on Nintendo, but now it is because it's on Switch. Get wrecked. Full steam ahead. Atlas comes out for Xbox One. This is a pirate survival game. It's basically Ark, but with pirates.
In fact, it was made by the Ark team, if I recall.
Yeah, it's basically Ark with pirates. It works with single player or private sessions and multiplayer sessions. It can hold apparently 40,000 simultaneous players or some ridiculous bullshit. I don't think it's going to get anywhere near, though, because this game is sitting at a mostly negative on Steam. It's been out for a year, and I guess there's a lot of grind and buggy issues that people don't like. It's very role play. It's very, this is the game you play. This is the one thing you do. You spend 300 hours that you can turn that one stick you have into a shack that you live in that someone's immediately going to come bust up next time you get offline. It is definitely one of those
This
games.
strikes me as something I want to come back to when they release Atlas 2.0, because conceptually I'm kind of into it.
I just have no interest in these survival style games anymore. It's not for me. Concrete Genie comes out for PS4.
This looks amazing.
This game looks super rad. It's a PS4 game where you use the motion controls to create landscapes in a town, and the landscapes turn into living portraits. So how you paint the creatures in your landscapes affect their personalities. Like red paint makes creatures breathe fire. There's freestyle drawing. There's core puzzles, and there's all kinds of stuff. This game is heavily inspired, and this is directly from the developer's mouth, by Jet Set Radio from Sega. And Jet Set Radio is fucking rad. So this game looks really cool. Spirit Hunter NG comes out for PS4, Switch, PC, and Vita. We have to talk about Vita releases because
Vita lives.
We get 2 of them a year. This is an adventure, kind of indie, violent, gory, point-and-click adventure game where you're in spooky houses. There's nightmares. You think they're urban legends, but you're trying to solve a mystery and make deadly decisions just to survive.
My quick look at it gave me very strong visual novel shades, but I can't confirm if it actually is just a visual novel or not.
It looks to be one, and it's apparently a companion story to Spirit Hunter Deathmark, which is another one of these style games. Mistover comes out for PS4, Switch, and PC. This is an adventure strategy RPG. I don't know.
You can think of it. You can get there. I have faith in you.
No, this game was like punny in the title, and I really disliked the way it looked. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot about it immediately.
All right, moving on.
You make your own crew. You explore different regions. So there's traditional RPG like tropes, lakes, mountains. There's a lava level. There's cathedrals, castles, and you're trying to strategize your way through it. When I first looked at it, I kind of thought it was gonna be that like 2D combat Darkest Dungeon vibe, but it doesn't quite look like that. So I don't know. Maybe it's cool, but I'm not the one to sell it to you. Frostpunk, though, that game comes out on console this week. PS4, Xbox One. This is the really, really short elevator pitch of this game would be it's a city builder in the snow where all of your people will die.
Yes. I had a chance. It's been on PC for a hot minute, but I had a chance to play the console version of this. I want to say back in June or July when it was still like under wraps. It is good. It is amazing that they were able to port this to console so well. If you like any kind of city builder game, I cannot recommend Frostpunk enough. And if you like grim shit like This War Is Mine,
I was just gonna say, if you like This War Is Mine, then you should play Frostpunk, because even though that seems like 2 different styles of gamer, this is the beautiful merging of those 2 things.
Yeah, no, the game is good. I love Frostpunk.
Also coming out this week, Grid. Wait, all right, that's not Grid 1 or 2 or Auto Sport. No, it's Grid, because they did the thing that people like to do where, hey, our game's been out for an amount of time, and we're just going to go back to the beginning, and we're going to call it the first fucking one, except for this time it's in all goddamn caps.
Excellent.
PS4,
I had
Xbox One,
questions about that, because I was like, wasn't this game been out forever as a support? And I looked at it, I'm like, I know this series exists.
This is a brand new fucking video game. This is the game after Auto Sport or Grid 4 or whatever the fuck Grid game came out. Now I'm just waiting for them to release Dirt again so we can just start that franchise over too. Grid is a cool game. It is more simulation based, though it is still slightly more arcadey in scope than the main series Forza or Gran Turismo or even Project Cars titles, but not quite as arcadey as Forza Horizon. If that gives you anything, cool. If not, I'm sorry. I actually like the Grid series. I think they're fun. They tend to have lots of different styles of racing, like open wheel and short track, and yeah, I don't know. There's usually lots of shit to do. These games go a long way, and they have that fun thing where at the beginning of the game you pick your character name, and then you pick from a big giant list of human names or nicknames, and that's what the game calls you the whole time.
Funny.
I
So
always think that's funny.
what I would like to see come, because I'm not a racing guy. By the way, Demon 10 Games, nice to see you. Good, welcome back to chat. Always good to see a familiar face again. I want to see Burnout come back, but I don't mean like Burnout and what they've been doing Burnout recently. I want Burnout where its focus is the crash mode.
The problem is, okay, so there's a game that came out not too long ago that would probably scratch that itch for you, but the problem is that the main Burnout team is fucking gone. Like, Criterion is not a thing anymore. And they're scattered to the four winds. Some of them worked on the Need for Speed games. Some of them are just in completely different genres and companies and corporations. And so I don't think we're going to get a new Burnout.
Because I don't do racers, but that game made me want to play racer.
Yeah. Burnout Paradise is still one of my favorite racing games of all time. That game's great. The Bradwell Conspiracy comes out for PC, Switch, and Xbox One, as well as PS4. This is another adventure game. This is more of a casual adventure. There's an explosion at the Stonehenge Museum fundraiser, of course.
I love it when you can tell that you just don't give a fuck about the game you're reading, because you're just like, yeah, whatever, and then this happens, and then something stupid goes down.
I'm sorry. Let me read this. Let me try and be serious, and I'll get through this again. Following a sudden explosion at the Stonehenge Museum fundraiser, you find yourself trapped in a hidden underground complex. Your only means of escape is by sending photographs of your surroundings to another survivor confined elsewhere. That's the pitch. That's the thing. It's an adventure game. You click on stuff. You try and get out of a fucking cave that's somehow under Stonehenge. You enjoy yourself. Velfaris comes out on Switch, PC, and PS4 this week as well. This is a pixel graphic, action adventure, gory as shit indie platformer.
A lot of those recently. By the way, Blasphemous is really goddamn good.
And like I was gonna say, this gives me some Blasphemous vibes, but more metal sluggy than slashy. Set in a far corner space, Valharis is a heavy metal infused 2D action platformer, and the next game from the team behind Unity Awards finalist Slain Back from Hell.
Would you say it's your one-way ticket to midnight?
I think it might be. Call it heavy metal.
Also, funny that you said it's the team. It's funny that's from the team that did Slain, because that was the very first thing when I saw this trailer, and I couldn't remember what the hell that game was called.
That's funny. But anyway, soundtrack looks awesome. The game looks very violent and very fun. And I like 2D platformers. Okay, I got a niche. It's good.
Yeah, I do kind of want to play this
because it comes out on Switch. And at some point, if it's on Switch, it'll be on sale. And at some point, if it's on Switch and it's on sale, and I feel like I'm needing to get on a plane or a train or a boat sometime soon, I'll probably pick it up and play it.
Just watch out if John Candy shows up.
I don't know about that. I don't think
David?
I'd trust him unless I was in the great outdoors.
Uncle Buck. David? I think that does it for new releases, which means that has unfortunately brought us to the end of the show. This has been GamePoints episode 194, and thank you all for watching. If you want, you can watch us live here at Twitch TV/GamePoints every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, like so many of you have tonight. Captain Ice Cold, Salty Frank, Demon 10 Games, to everyone else happens to be lurking, thank you very much. Can't catch us live, however, I do understand. You can watch old shows over at youtube.com/GamePointsPC or BitChute at GamePoints. If you want to join the greater Discord community, you can do so at the link provided down below. Pop right in there where gaming news and announcements and all kinds of other stuff pop in there. You can follow the show on Twitter at GamePointsPC. You can follow myself, Stephen Brown, at CapitalistPig21. And you can follow David there at Palshlife_Satori. Once again, this has been GamePoints. Thank you all for showing up. And until next week, we're out of here.